Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Para Presents, the Gig App Podcast by Para. It's going to take me a minute to get used to that one. Um, Over here on this side of me, I have David Pickerell, the CEO of Para. And hopefully, this is our first time doing I know that you used to do some, David, but this is our first time doing this weekly to the Facebook group as well. So, Facebook group, we are watching for your comments to come in. And here in a couple minutes, we will address some of the older questions that I found on Facebook. Hopefully, that will help some of the people watching on YouTube as well. Again, guys, send in all your comments. They will all come streamed through here no matter where you're watching this. David, how are you?
I'm good. And hi to the Facebook group. I know it's been a second since I've done a video. I'm here, super energized. I might be a little chubbier than before. But other than that, glad to be here.
Yeah. So, yeah, Facebook group. If you are seeing this after we do this live, this is something we've been doing live on YouTube for a while. We just started the audio podcast, which drops on Friday of this. But the Facebook group can get used to Thursday. Every Thursday, we're here at this time, so you guys can come in, bring your questions, because I saw a lot of repeat questions. I've been really doing some cleanup in there. I'm giving everybody in the Facebook group a solid first chance. I'm letting you in, and I've messaged everybody I'm letting in, saying that these are just kind of the new rules, which is just simply don't be a jerk, don't go political, don't go religious, and don't just be in there to be a hater. In fact, I said to somebody in a comment, David, in the group, listen, if you're just going to be in here to hate, it'd probably be best if you just left. Otherwise, end up kicking you out. And he goes, no, I appreciate you being honest. I'll just leave. So he literally was there just being a jerk until I said, hey, if you're just going to be a jerk here, you should probably go. He's like, oh, then I'll go. I was like, okay.
For me, it's like hating. I get that. Valid criticism, send them our way. So
yeah, no. I mean, here we go. Here's a Facebook user right now.
Yes, don't be a jerk. I agree.
Because I got to tell you, there was a lot of positive response to my post, way more than negative. In fact, I saw some people I hadn't seen post as I had been cleaning up in the Facebook group post on that one, kind of thanking me for saying that. Just kind of putting the foot down, not being a jerk about it, but just saying, look, don't be mean to people. Don't be in here just hating. If you got a question, yeah, sometimes you're frustrated. We understand that. Don't be afraid to post your question. Just, you don't need to post it over and over on everything and swear at other people and take it out on them. It's not their fault. So just ask, we'll answer. What's up, Gigan? Hi, Bud Soda. Hi, Even Aska. How you guys all doing? Even Aska says, if we need to kick him out, bye-bye. I agree. It is what it is. You guys, we're going to start off with some, please, if you have questions too, this includes YouTube, you guys, this is going to be weekly. So we have guests coming up like we did Trader last week. They'll all be live, and we'll always let the guests be streaming too. So it's always going to be intermixing crowds and whatnot, but this is kind of a little bit to play catch up with Facebook. So you Facebook people, I know I posted it yesterday. Maybe you haven't seen it yet, but if you did and you missed this, just know we do this weekly and you can watch the replay, and hopefully we'll get to your question here. And David, we'll just start off with a few. So this was my post to the group from 5 days ago. We are working on a number of new features and partnerships around the country. Please keep comments positive and feel free to ask questions. Hating on Para will not be accepted in this group. If those are the posts that individuals choose to make here forward, you will be removed from this group. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Everybody seemed to like this. First question that came up was Andy Dick Sparks. I cannot get my background checked accepted by Para. I've submitted it a few times. Let me real quickly see if I followed this. No, okay. So that was the first question. I responded to him a few times, but I'm going to let you say what you want to say about this. So
I know that's been frustrating for some people. So
yeah, I've seen it I'm pointing it out because I've seen it numerous times in the group.
Yeah, it's a little complicated. So I think what we're trying to do is, for most platforms, they only accept a background check that's valid in the last year. What happens is we need every part of that background check for some platforms to accept it. And the part that's tripping most people up is usually MVR. So what happens is you upload a copy of your background check. You should check that it has most of the different sections there. But sometimes the MVR is missing. That's because a lot of the larger platforms like DoorDash run that on an ongoing basis. So that's the reason. But I guess, for most people are probably asking, like, what can I do is probably more important. I think the best thing actually is if you email, Parapass help to help@withpara.com. We have helped a lot of people with this problem. What that means is we can help run a specific MVR, attach that to the background check you have, and you'll be approved there. So I'm sorry about the issue there. I think it's a bit of an imperfect process, but email us and we'll get that resolved.
So email help@withpara or info?
Help@withpara.com.
Help. So guys, that's what I've been saying in the comments too. And I know a couple people actually responded to me by saying, "Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I will email them." And so I even told one person to CC me too, if that made them feel better. They did CC me on that. Here's JP from one of the YouTubes. So while we're still on this.
Exactly. The MVR was missing, and that's because they run it continuously. We're working on a system where it shouldn't make. We're working on a system where you should be able to solve that more easily in the app, but in the short term, just send it to help at, and we'll walk you through it basically.
And then here's a Facebook comment. Well, it's a big long one. Two questions. Any timeline on when the Para DD will be out of beta? And secondly, there are partners who submit orders to ParaWorks for services who blatantly and admittedly does not pass on tips from ezCater orders that they service. I personally spoke with the owner who admitted it and immediately deactivated me. Is this a matter that might make you consider ending your partnership with them?
That's a great question. So, Stefan, if you're not on the DoorDash beta, shoot me an email, david@withpara.com, and I'm sure we can do something about that. There's a reason it's still in beta, but if you want on, let me know. Number two, yes, that is a reason that would make us consider ending our partnership with them. So similarly, I would like to know which partner that is. We've actually been doing a revamp of this system recently, so maybe too much details, but within Works, when we pull from the partner systems, there's multiple places where they can put what the price of a trip is. We realized that people were sort of gaming that to try and take some of the tip. So we've actually, I think like a couple of days ago, changed it to we're pulling from the main line item for the price to stop that gaming of it. So we would like to know who that partner is, and we have actually ended partnerships with platforms who are doing this in the past.
So I'm a little confused when this person's saying that the person they spoke with, the owner, admitted it and immediately deactivated me from what? Deactivated you from?
I mean, because at the end of the day, the ParaWorks trip is being sent via the partner, right? So I think the partner, two things here. Either the partner blocked Stefan from being able to get trips through ParaWorks, or they blocked him on their own internal system, which would lead to the same thing.
Because with
Club Soda here, though, right? That's scummy. I agree. That's not good.
Yeah. I mean, David and I have talked about this too. And thank you, JP, for this. I mean, look, guys, we're trying to get down to the nitty gritty of it all, but appreciate the help and the shout out to Jessica. Always good to know.
Here, I'm going to put that one back up and send her a screenshot of that. That's going to make her day. So
okay. All right. So, a little bit of this is being challenged by the banner, but what she's asking is, how does she get? So she removed herself from. So she put something on auto decline. She now wants to remove that from auto decline. Do you follow?
So you'd have to. That's a good question. So to do that, you would have to go in and sort of remove the flag from that store. there.
So, but if she's already flagged it and having trouble, what does she do? Just search it, or is there like her flags?
Yes, there is. Give me 1 second here.
So we'll put this back up in case you guys were wondering. This person from the Facebook group has asked, so how to remove a store that I previously added to the auto decline list. So maybe you for a while were like, I don't want anything from there. But now you're like, wait, I at least want to see them.
So for there, you'd have to go in and click more on the right-hand side of the app. And within more, there is actually a flagged offer list. And in that sort of flag offer list, you would be able to sort of
just take it off. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that should be more obvious though. So that's a really good flag. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this, maybe this goes back to the first one. So, okay, so this is maybe this was a different thing about getting on. Let me see if, okay, yeah. So I guess the follow-up here was that they were saying that they've done all this and it's crazy because they've already seen ParaWorks jobs. And we have touched on this, but maybe you guys haven't heard it. David, do you want to address this? Do you want to, because what they're saying is, but I've already had ParaWorks jobs. Why am I not able to get this uploaded to ParaPass?
That's a really good question. So the problem is to unlock ParaWorks versus ParaPass, it's slightly different right now, right? So for ParaWorks, those are partners who have accepted the fact that you're recently active on a gig platform and are okay with you instantly onboarding with that. The second part is for ParaWorks. It's more of they are accepting the fact that you have a complete and verified profile. Super confusing. Completely understand why people are confused. That's actually a change we have coming out next week, where it's just going to be one profile. So it's going to be one profile, and what we basically say is, as you fill out more, you unlock more other types of work. But right now, we launched 2 profiles just to get things done quickly, and it's confusing. So I get that.
Yeah. And then we have this Mark Smith sent this through on 3 different occasions. So Mark, if you're watching this is for you. We're going to address this here. He's asking, how is this possible? And it's gotten a lot of response in the group, some of which led to some banned comments and whatnot. This is where things kind of got out of control, a comment like this. But I also think we need to talk about this. 14.4 miles, $4.99. And this is out of Gigan's network. If I remember right, Gigan might have even sent me the same screenshot.
Yep.
That he's posting.
The answer is it shouldn't be, right? So I think there's sort of 2 things at play here. I think one, when we switched from moving one column to the other column, we misreported because some companies had posted in column A and some posted in column B. We ended up pulling a bunch of offers that were lower, and people ended up getting paid on those. On the flip side, we have also realized that this is a problem in general, right? So I think what we've noticed is there are some partners where sometimes they post good, but sometimes they try. We noticed this behavior in some partners where they post at $5. I think our minimum is $4.99. And I think some people have started there and increased it slowly to see what people would take. And that's not something we want, right? I mean, the answer is $5 at 14 miles is a no-go, right? So that's actually something we're reflecting. I think we are actually going to increase that. I forget, Jess actually has the numbers to, I think, a minimum of $10 or $12. And there's going to be a per mile rate that influences that also. So, the answer is we have vetted the partners and usually look at the trips when we onboard them into the system. But this is not the first time I've seen this, unfortunately. So,
I mean, I can literally, this is being honest, I've never seen these in my market. In fact, I've seen 1.5 mile trips for $20. So to me, this is kind of weird because I've never seen these awful ones.
Yeah.
I don't know how this,
it goes against what we're trying to do at ParaWorks, right? So I'm sorry. And I see even here says Gigan. I've seen it $3.99. Gigan's in Minneapolis too, or?
Yeah.
So I think we have to take a hard look at the partner in Minneapolis is what I hear. So
right. Okay. Fair enough. So Mark, I hope that answered your question. And if you have a follow-up, please post it to this. I left this post in the Para group. So please post it as a reply to this. If you have another question, we'll follow that up next week.
Yep.
Or if you're here live, go ahead.
It really is 2 things. One, we need to talk to the partner, let them know that behavior is not allowed, and we will stop partnering if that's the case. Number two, we are also going to put rules just to make sure that that never hits you, basically. Right? The answer is you shouldn't be able to post that.
Fair.
That's in the
Fair.
works.
So this came in from Megan. She took a day off. Good for her. Everybody should do this. It's great for your mental stability. So nice job, Megan. She went hiking, all apps off, besides taking a bunch of pictures. Didn't use my phone so much. So I was surprised that the battery drained so quickly before she went to bed. This morning, below 20%. Then I remembered I can look at battery usage, and she saw this. And I think that I've had this issue too. So here's what I know with Curry. I don't leave background app refresh on because that's like, what is the mail protocol with fetching? Like you can set your fetch to 1 second, 1 minute, 3 minutes, or just when they come through. Like to me, like I don't set it to a second because then you're calling every second and you're burning the crap out of the battery. Like with Curry, I have to have it on. If I don't want to have the app open, I have to have all the location services on, but I don't have to have background app refresh on. And background app refresh, I try and turn that off on every app because I've literally seen articles on it's not needed. It's them wanting to always surveil you. So and that's not the case with Para. I'm wondering if you have a different answer. My guess is you can just turn that off.
I have to double check on my end. I would like to know whether we have mileage tracking that's in beta with a number of people. It's not publicly released yet. So I guess what my initial thought goes to is right now we have mileage tracking. It's working, but we're not good at reminding people to turn it off. So if that is on the whole time, that would explain that.
Can't that be set to while using app though?
Yes. So I guess if you're on an iPhone, you can decide how that's done, right?
Okay.
Although we ask people if you are going to use mileage tracking to keep it not to while using app, because otherwise if you switch off of the app, it stops tracking your miles. So,
well, fair enough. But to be honest, like mileage tracking apps usually require that they be open.
Yes.
So, I mean, in all fairness, that is part of it's that you open, if you're going to use that app, you're opening it.
Yep. But that's actually one thing I'm sort of excited to roll out to people is that something we've heard a lot. Like every time we've polled the Facebook group, every time we've asked users, I think a lot of people have asked for a mileage tracker in the app. It's something I've resisted. We just haven't built for 2 years here because I've always thought that there are sort of like other ways to be able to track the miles. But now I guess, we've heard what people keep asking for, so it's coming. So right now it is available in Boston and it is available in New York City. But it's for a select group, but I expect in the next week or two, we're just going to open it up for everybody. So
Gigan's saying something about a 50-50 or fetch me deliveries have been showing up better, but it's 50-50 the last week, what I've seen. Okay. Is this an Australia question?
Yeah. I actually did notice, I was actually looking we're trying to build this new feature we've been working on, and we've actually been plotting sort of like pings from different platforms on a map. And I was actually looking at one just before this call. And I think rather interestingly, I did see a bunch in Australia. So I noticed we actually have users in Australia, users in Canada, and users in Taiwan.
Okay.
So I was a bit surprised by that because the way we built the app, I wasn't sure it would work in those places, but it seems like it does work to some extent in those places. I think, unfortunately, the answer is not for a while, to be honest here. We would like to, but we still have too many cities here, at least in the States, where we don't have opportunities. So we'll get there. Just give us a little bit.
I would like to know to this user, what are you using in Para that you find unique or that you are liking, if you don't mind putting that in? Because my guess is you're on Para using it for something, trying to get onto Para Pass. So okay. So it does. Any mileage tracker I run never ever tells you to turn, or never gives me a warning to turn it off.
That's awesome. Even Oscar, I didn't realize you were on the mileage tracker. That's awesome. I feel like Even Asuka's
She's in Chicago.
Chicago. Yes, I know she signed up for Fuda. She's using
Mhm.
mileage tracker. Thank you. You got all the things.
Yeah.
Even DoorDash. So
Yeah, even Oski, you should email David at withpara.com. He's seen you in a few chats now. I'm sure that you guys would have a nice conversation, especially anything Chicago. Here's the Carnifage in Vegas, and I got to say, this is something I always don't like about Curry. It's perfect kind of play on it. Is Curry does the same. There's no noise notification or anything if you're unassigned by them and you're on your way to something. So this hasn't happened to me with the Para app, but obviously, David, do you have anything to? Because I saw a couple things in the Facebook group too. I'm glad that the Carnifage brought this up because I saw a couple things in Facebook group about where's the cancel fee. What is up with a cancel fee? I don't even know about it. So you're muted.
sorry, that was on. Yes. So an alert when the order is canceled, we should do better. That I do know that there is a push notification, and we do alert you. But I'm sure we should probably make it more obvious there. We do have a cancel fee right now with partners. So what happens is if they cancel within, I believe, an hour, we basically charge the partner some portion of the trip and pay that fully to the driver. I do think that process to some extent hasn't been perfect with some of the drivers. So I know I've heard from a couple different people saying I got the fee a while later. I had to ask for the fee. So we're sort of buttoning that up right now. You didn't get
so the Carnifage got the cancellation fee. I think they're more interested in the alert that would say, wait, this got canceled. Like in case you're on your way to it.
Yep. But I think we're actually same thing as I think because of thank you Steve for flagging a lot of the stuff in the Facebook group. We're also updating that policy there and bumping it to sort of 2 hours for an amount there. So
okay.
We're listening to folks here and trying to make some updates.
And yes, Traveler, you can hit me at that or Steve at withpara.com. Either one, I check them. So grid. So Gigan says Gridwise shuts it off too. I guess I'm thinking more of the tax ones because I've been a Hurdler person for a while because Hurdler has mileage and they've kind of had this gig economy thing, even though it's kind of not perfect by any means. And I'm not dogging on Hurdler, but they were first. They were the ones doing it even before any of the TurboTax and those kind of ones that had their way with things. But it'll run forever on that one. So. But I guess, because he's saying that after 2 hours, it also does it. I guess that would make sense, if it's something that, times you out. It's kind of like having your apps connected with Para, and going into the app and hitting go or whatever. And then whichever ones you have connected, go for 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, you get a drop down that says you haven't received anything or you haven't actively used something. I don't know.
I'll admit building a good mileage tracker has been surprisingly more work than expected, right? So it's something you have to sort of tweak it. So we were realizing that with mileage tracker, we weren't tracking fast enough when you're on the highway. Then you make some tweaks, and suddenly when I went for my afternoon walk, I was walking like 10 miles basically, right? So it's actually been sort of a good trial and error there, but super excited to get that back. So
okay. This was the battery fixing thing. And I was asking if just simply turning it off. I think we went a step further. Mine was just so wait. Okay, no, now we're into a new question. Here we go. So this is Mark Smith again. When will my Parapass info get approved? It's under review for weeks. Megan then also jumped in and said, mine was just approved a few days ago. So my guess is they are going through them all now. Nothing available through it yet, though, at least not in my area. So as David and I have spoke about before, when correct me at any point, David, but when Parapass launched, it basically launched in all the markets, even if it wasn't going to be right away into your market, which got a lot of people going, okay, well, now I've done this. Now what?
Correct. So when we launched it, the idea was just to put it out there and get a couple people to test it. And frankly, I think in a couple hours, a lot of people started uploading documents to the point where we couldn't keep up with reviewing all the documents. At the time, we also only had a launch partner in a couple cities. So it took sort of a little bit of time, and we basically closed off signups, right? So we sort of closed off signups and said, hey, if you aren't in these cities, you can no longer sign up. But if you'd already applied in a city which was open and then closed, we're still in the processing part of it. So I'm glad to say that we are finally getting around to other cities. It's been a couple of weeks, and it's been a couple of weeks, and we've now worked through more of the backlog there. Same thing though. I know sort of help out with para.com. So if it's really been sitting there for a long time, please just ping us and we'll get it done for you. So,
hey JP, how are you? So even Aska is further following up here with mileage tracker and flagging. Did my first flag last week. Guy was so rude because Starbucks forgot a drink, but he didn't care whether or not I could unseal the bag or not. Great reason to flag in my book, man. Flag them. you don't want them again as a customer, right? I mean, look, let's be honest. Customers like that can only get you in trouble. They might have even been doing it just to get free drinks. Who knows? I mean, look, I know a lot of people who work the platforms who do some shady stuff, or I've heard it from them and stuff even. I'm like, wait, what? Trust me, there's a lot of customers who do shady stuff as well. But yeah, so back to these. Let's see. So that was this one. Okay. So this is will this ever be fixed? Let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, here it is closer. This is the red, you guys, is just the addresses. I took them out because I didn't see that there was any need to have them in there. But this person keeps getting this. But yet they had done from the conversation on Facebook, they had done ParaWorks before, but they keep getting this now. Are you familiar?
Yes, I am familiar with this one. Exactly. So what happens if you get a Cartwheel account and then you change your Cartwheel password? This is for people who previously used the iteration where we sent you sort of Cartwheel login credentials. So what happens here is you've changed your Cartwheel account, and because of that, we can't actually pull or push the information from that account for you. So the same thing is the easiest way is email help@para.com. If you want to take it on your own hands, what you need to do is go back to Cartwheel and change it back to the password that we'd sent to you originally. So that's the best way to do it. Let me double check with PWE1 as well.
Yeah, because I saw a few of these, like older ones though. Not too old, but like through the summer. Because it's mixed for you Facebook people, if you're thinking, why didn't you get to my post? So if somebody replies to a post from June, that moves up to the front line of the para group. And so I'm just kind of getting refamiliarized with the group settings on Facebook, guys. And so like sometimes like a post from like even last month might be buried because people commented on other posts. So I'm coming down the line to them, but I'm starting to see the out of whack order of dates. So kind of think of it from here forward. Please post them, and David and I'll address them. So
yeah, but I think for this one, it really is go back to Cartwheel, change your password, and it should work again. If not, email us and we can send you the instructions on how to fix it. So
okay. So other than that, there weren't any like major things. A lot of people asking about getting on. So I really hope those people are hearing, because like you've said, it's first of all bombarded. Second of all, a lot of those markets aren't going to be live right away. But even so, we've talked about on here that those people will still be onboarded. Are those people notified if they're onboarded? Like with Yup can get ParaWorks orders in Southern Michigan, but he can't do ParaPass, but he was onboarded to ParaPass. So
yeah, so I think in that scenario, it would be we don't have a pass partner right now. He'd signed up previously and we've shut off the area, but we've gone through an onboarded pass. I
Right, but
also
does he
do
get an
think
email saying that we don't have a partner in this area yet? Or will he be like, will I'm kind of just trying to get ahead of the game and think, will people ask this question? Will they say, hey, I got onboarded. Why am I not seeing anything? Or is there an email sent out to him?
I think in the app it basically says, "Hey, there's no offers in your area right now." I do
Okay.
think in general that it goes back to the same problem, right? Which is the double profile is confusing, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's really we have a change for that coming in the next week or two. Actually, that is so. Also, what I've said is if you sign up for a Para Pass, you should be eligible for Para Works work too, right? If you have a profile and you have your driver's account connected and you have your background check done, like you're good enough to do Para Works trips, right? So we're actually just combining the qualifications for both
Oh,
of them.
I guess I already thought that was a thing.
No, so if you have a Para Pass profile, that unlocks Pass. If you have a Para Works profile, that unlocks Works. We're turning it into one profile.
Right. I meant like I unlocked ParaWorks before ParaPass, but I figured if somebody onboarded to ParaPass, they would automatically unlock ParaWorks.
Not
Because
yet.
because the
As
ParaWorks
of
onboarding was much
yeah,
easier than the ParaPass.
yeah, as of next week, it will be.
Okay.
I also do have one announcement there where we do have to enable this like combined profile. We are going to be pushing a change next week that will be a little bit painful. I guess what that means is in the past, people have had multiple. We're basically leaning into the fact that this profile is your identity, right? You can use the identity to unlock work. You can use the identity to access pings without having to sign up. But with that in mind, with this what I'm calling unified profile, we did
Mm-hmm.
realize that a lot of people had multiple Para accounts, basically. And we are making the shift to try and unify those. I think people, when they log in next week, who have had multiple Para accounts with multiple accounts tied to multiple accounts, will get a notification saying, hey, we've noticed you have 3 accounts, basically. Which one of these do you want to combine them all into and stick around with? So I just wanted to let people know that there is a change there. We've spent a lot of time to make sure it's as seamless as possible, but just heads up that is coming. So
Okay. And then obviously there's a fan here who would like to do some work for
hey, if you're
um,
interested in working, if you're interested in building this dispatch system, I'd always like to talk. So I think it always goes back to just shoot me an email, david@withpara.com.
there
So
you
more to the cause is always better. So
go. I know there was a question up here that I was trying to avoid because I know, I mean, we're not going to avoid it. I was going to come back to it, JP, but I flagged it here. So we'll bring it up, but I don't think this is a thing that we do. And there's a lot of reasons why no companies really like to do this, but David, is there a good solid answer for this for other people who might watch?
delivered that food.
Oh no, my answer was it's probably best not to say. I mean, because you're going to say one thing and that's
Yeah.
not going to apply to market B or market C. And then
Yes.
they're
I mean,
going to
the
get
goal eventually would
confused and
be, we have all of that. The goal for us would be to have all of that in Para, right? So you can find all the opportunities. The reason I'm giving a list though is like I've heard from so many people that right now things are tough, right? It's hard for people to make money. People aren't making getting. I've had a driver who's been calling me every couple of days, basically saying, "Hey, like I used to make a living on DoorDash, and things are down 40%, and nothing I can do to get more trips." And that's why I'm sort of being very actively highlighting the catering companies, right?
so maybe it could be a thing where once your Parapass is activated, within the Parapass, you could see which ones are available to you.
Yep. That's something we've started to do in Boston, is one city, is to put what I call unqualified opportunities up. I think I've just heard from a lot of people, they're like, I want to know what's around me. And it's been tough. So the beauty of Parapass is that we help you skip the line, right? So you have a profile, you click skip and you can skip the line. But what we've heard from people is they just want to know what's around them also. So I think you're going to start seeing us post other local opportunities. You don't skip the line. You still have to fill in the form. You still have to go through the normal onboarding process. But we will mark it clearly as not skip the line eligible. So we're also going to have that coming up, mostly because I've just heard from people, I want to know other opportunities also.
Wait, but now I'm confused because there is a skip the line.
There is skip the line for the platforms we are working with, right? So you click and we go
We're just
in
trying
and
to be very clear here, guys. We're just trying to make this very clear.
so we have some partners where you can skip the line. You have your Parapass profile and you can skip the line with that partner. We're also putting other listings that don't work with Parapass there.
Gotcha.
Exactly for this, right? I think we've had a lot of people ask, what are other options? It's desperate times out there. I want to know what's there.
Yeah.
So we're going to add those also, but it will very clearly say this doesn't work with Parapass and there is no skip the line. But if you want to look for opportunities, this is here. So,
right. So I guess on this comment, I want to ask Ivanaska. So you're saying that you unlocked Parapass but not Paraworks yet. Why not? I mean, I just have to ask because Paraworks is simple. You just click it and say, yep. And then, I mean, to me, she's in Chicago. Wouldn't that be a huge bonus to take that? What am I missing here, David?
No, I think we do have opportunities in, right?
Where she should, at this time, onboard to Paraworks, even though she did Parapass.
Yes, I mean,
is my point, because she's saying she hasn't yet, but I'm saying she should, right? I mean,
yes, I think she should.
Okay, I mean, like obviously, David and I are just speaking in terms of you'll see more offers.
Yes,
if you do. So that's my point.
Here, there's actually one thing I was wanting to share here. How do I share a picture on this, Steve?
Oh, just do click present, share screen. Oh, and then you have to have it opened and it'll show the window and then double click that window.
Oh yeah, here is actually.
Or you can upload it into the brand. If you click brand and click overlay section.
Where's brand?
It's right at near the top, or it's on comments, banners, brand. Huh. On the side of the StreamYard, you have access to that.
That's weird. It seems like more like on your side.
No, because you're an admin on here.
Oh yeah, but I was going to share this, which I thought was interesting, going back to sort of our conversation.
Okay, earlier. Well, if you just open the picture and do present, you can do share screen.
We were sort of asking about Australia earlier, and I thought this was sort of interesting. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, it's up.
Right, so these are sort of, I guess, pings plotted. I was just trying to do an analysis of like which like platforms are busy or not. And I guess I was sort of shocked by this. I was like, I don't know who's in wherever this is, basically, or South America.
Yeah, who's in South Africa?
This is South Africa. I was like, what is going on over here? I looked this up. It's like San Tom and Principe or something like that. And there's sort of Taiwan and Hong Kong. And weirdly enough, look here, Australia and New Zealand, right? So I was actually sort of shocked by this.
Well, you know, we do have Janet in New Zealand who has told me, I have never asked her, but she's told me, well, I've turned the Para app on.
Yeah, which I was shocked by. I guess I just didn't realize that it worked.
And then the Hawaii one is probably Ronald.
Yeah, Hawaii makes sense. I mean, these are also like stacked on top of each other, but Alaska and Hawaii make sense to me. But like that doesn't make any sense to me, right? Just to give some other people, I guess, a sense. So this is sort of like a heat map of what we're seeing right now, basically.
Wow, there's unbelievable. There's none in Wyoming.
None in Wyoming.
I mean, Wyoming, I wouldn't expect it in like even in maybe in Cheyenne, the capital.
Yeah, but check out Ottawa, Quebec, Montreal, right? So that was also
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. So yeah, I have a friend in Cheyenne who works up in Montreal, and says she can't use Para up there.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but interesting, right?
I mean, are these people signing up for Paraworks, or are these people just active on the app, or what is this?
Oh no, these are auto decline users.
So auto decline users in Canada, it's working.
I didn't think it was, but at least they're trying. So right, that's what I have to look into. I'm sort of surprised, right? Like, so.
So JP says, I remember there was a website called Gig Sharks that was working on listing all gig apps for your area, not just food delivery. Never heard of that.
I have heard of Gig Sharks in the way back. Yeah.
Hi, Scrabble. So is there a list of Parapass active cities for those of us who aren't in one? Only asking because I'm working between Atlanta, Columbus, Albany, and Georgia now. Are you talking about, because there's a Columbus and an Albany, Georgia? Is you talking about Columbus, Georgia? Or are you talking about Columbus, Ohio, and Albany, New York, and Atlanta, and the rest of Georgia? I'm a little confused because two of those cities exist in Georgia and also are big cities outside of Georgia.
Yeah, so I know Atlanta, Georgia, we are live. So
Yeah. So there you go. But Albany, New York, Columbus, Ohio, not, and Columbus and Albany, Georgia, not.
correct.
Oh,
So
she
I
just
think
said all
Atlanta,
Georgia.
it is live. My impression is it's just GoPuff right now.
So she's saying it doesn't show me any jobs, just sends me to add accounts.
Yes. So even Oscar, you just got if you yes.
For Paraworks. Okay. So
Yes.
you're
So
still at a point where you don't have an attached account, which was the old way of doing Paraworks.
correct. Yes.
That served as like, so with Parapass, you upload your background check and then you're checked that way. This used to be the way of, if you like, I have I don't know if, I think I still have my DoorDash connected. I have my Uber connected to Para. And I think I have my Lyft connected too. And you can connect Grubhub as well. If you can connect any one of those, and that serves as I think this is why part of the confusion has happened that David's talking about with the double profile thing.
Yes.
Because there's two ways to onboard with the Paraworks thing. I guess this is why I was thinking Parapass overrode that and would still send you those offers, but you still need to at this time attach one account. Is my guess. Is that right?
Yes, you still have to attach one account for now. Yes. So if you attach an account,
Yeah.
that unlocks access to it.
Yeah. So, okay. I saw a Paraworks catering order for the first time in my actual work zone today. It was for Honeygrow. Did you do it, Josh? Don't leave us hanging, dude. you gotta finish that sentence, bro. How much was it for? How many miles? Did you take a screenshot and did you do it? And if you took a screenshot, Josh, will you text it to me?
No. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, man, you saw one. I got to tell you, like I've said many times, I see them all the time. They're just not. I mean, David's now been to Denver. You know how spread out it is, dude. They're just not in my area. But I still, like in the beginning, like with Curry, I'll still take them. I just got to grab the closest ones I can. Northglenn seems to be like the closest. A lot happens down in western Denver, which is the opposite of where I am. I'm northeastern Denver. So to me, that's almost like driving to Boulder, because it's just going to take like 45 minutes to an hour to get down there. So a lot of times it's like those Littleton orders come up, but I have seen some Northglens too, and that starts to get closer to me. Josh, if you're now seeing them in King of Prussia, which is your area in Pennsylvania, that's awesome. I think we also missed this one too. How can I pull a background check? I delete emails. So I delete emails so I never have to go back and deal with any of my stuff. God, I know Josh too well. But I think Josh, you can, I went and, I mean, David helped me when we were first doing it to get me through. So we kept screwing around until we got it right. But I believe you can go to Checker and log and get your information. Am I wrong in saying that, David? I feel like I went there.
That was the post. That was the post over here. So I posted. I realized it's both.
Okay.
And as you. So here.
Okay, because I was going to say,
Yeah.
I think I even went there, and I don't even know if there was a fee or not.
No. It's completely free. I mean, it's your background check.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I didn't know. I figured Checker's probably going to take you for $1 or $2. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's your background check, but they'd be like, yeah, but it's our business. JP says, mine says Parapass opportunities coming soon to your area. We'll wait. Okay. So that's probably, I'm guessing that's just what it says as generically. But as we've seen, they keep coming and coming and coming.
Yeah. Hey, DoorDash said here, for DoorDash, can you please add a filter for house apartments in the pair up without filtering out businesses or hotels? That is a good question. I know we used to be able to do that. Let me double check.
So can you add a filter for house apartments without filtering out? I thought there was already something that did the apartment ones, or was that just within the flag itself?
I think for DoorDash, it was if you're on the DoorDash beta program, it is potentially. I think you should be able to do this. I do think that where we actually pull it from is from DoorDash itself. I think DoorDash does flag whether it is a house or a apartment, business, or hotel. So I do think that that's why it's hard to know. We used to have a feature called apartment or not, right? I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, Zach uses it for apartments. That's how I know it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how. I don't know in which way. I don't know if in Zach's area he just is flagging the entire apartment building or what he's doing, but I know he uses it for apartments.
Yeah. But I do know that I need to double check, basically. I know there's a reason why we had to make some changes, but my impression was it should still work like this. But if it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
So I do have yeah, that's good.
What do we say to Bud Soda here?
Not yet, but I am having our first chat with one tomorrow. So.
And Josh, to address this, David and I were talking. I mean, I'm still kind of rebooking people since we were recording on Mondays. I'm moving people over to these Thursdays. So we will be having guests. The only one coming up in the future that will not be live, that will show as like the old school way that we premiered things, is when we have the CEO for Curry here. He will not be live with us. We will pre-record that one, but we will be in the premiere to answer any questions you guys might have, because I think Last Mile might come into play with Parapass a lot too. So there's a lot to be learned from them. But addressing this, I asked David about the delivered team. I know that Gigwise randomly had him on like on midnight. David has crossed lines with this. We're trying to get him on here because I think that'll be a really nice discussion for you guys to hear what they go through. Because I mean, like, I'm experiencing bad delivered in my market, and I'm seeing Tony, the driven dad, doing a bunch. He's getting them down south. We're not getting them up north.
Yeah.
So it's that same kind of thing. Like I was telling you before, like when it launches, it's launching where it's working or where you have the partnerships. And to me, I'm not getting them up this far.
Yeah. We should have him on. I've met him a couple of times like in person. He's a good guy. So I know he cares a lot about drivers. He cares about running a good business, and in general, I've always thought he was a good guy.
Gigwise even had a theory that if you buy, and I'm not promoting this, you guys, because I have not even done a delivered. I have not had a good offer up near me, but I wasn't getting any. Now I am. At least I can see him. But Gigwise was saying that ever since he took pictures of buying their bags, I know Bud Soda's in here and he's not a fan of this stuff, but I got to say it. He said that ever since then, he's had the best paying.
Yeah. That's the secret. That's the secret.
But I'm just saying, Bud Soda, listen, Gigwise's been doing a lot of them.
Although
Bud Soda, told me
on this thing, it made me realize I have been trying to talk to Domino's. We have talked to Jimmy John's. What's tough is, I guess Jimmy John's doesn't pay super well, and Domino's won't respond to us. So I've been trying.
Yeah. And it's just so you guys know too, who was it that said socks when we said para apparel? You guys need para socks.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a
pair of socks.
Yeah. Well, Gigan, I'm happy for this. $47.50 for 5 miles. That's pretty good.
Most of the delivereds that come in are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I see from people, I have not seen them near enough to me to make it good yet. It's like how a lot of people feel about Curry. However, it's just like how I feel about Paraworks, though. Some people are posting these $4.99s from Minnesota, where Gigan is, for a Paraworks order. I haven't seen anything underneath 20, and I've never seen one over 5 miles.
Yeah. So I think it's dependent on the partner there. So we need to do a better job vetting it.
But it's the same kind of thing. Delivered does that same kind of thing. They're taking in orders.
Yeah.
And some, I hate to say it this way, but some probably slip by the goalie sometimes. You know, I know that's a term of getting somebody pregnant, but I just had to say it. So Carnifage says their bags are not in stock, probably because Gigwise is doing a great job promoting that if you have delivered bags, you will get better orders. Oh, so I'm the opposite. I barely do DD anymore. My catering customers want specific drivers that aren't idiots. See, this is why I think so many companies are succeeding with the catering space, because this is, I can't tell you the amount of times I talk to people about this. This is so true. Customers have had it. They've had it with the crappy DoorDash people that, you know, like, damn, banger. Nice. I mean, that's a good one, JP. So
yeah, that's awesome. I actually had one thing I wanted to show people here while we're at it. So I know I've actually done a bunch. We're trying to build a couple of new features for people, right? And I think did like a bunch of interviews with drivers over the last couple of weeks. I think a couple of the people in the comments actually had calls with me.
And yeah, I saw Josh that he was on a curry somewhere in the boonies, and
hey, money's more important than the chat for that, so I get it. But you know, I would love to chat again. But we heard from a lot of people. We put a bunch of concepts in front of people, right? And one of these was, hey, do you want a nicer, shinier profile? The other one was community flags, like, hey, can you flag that somebody tip baited or sent low tips? We also had another concept around like events on a map, but the one that people seem to really like was, we called this Parapulse. So what this was you can, if you want to, opt into sharing your pings and seeing where other people in your area are getting pings. And what that means is you can see on a map anytime a DoorDash, an Uber, a Grubhub, a Lyft, an Uber Eats ping shows up, it stays on the map for 5 minutes before disappearing. And it's this idea that, forget hotspots from the platforms, you can actually see where actual live pings are coming in. And what happened was we ended up getting a lot of feedback from people saying, you know, I would either head in that area. Some people were like, I would make sure I don't head to that area. Some people were like, hey, it would help me know that that bagel shop is blowing up in the morning. But it's actually something that I wanted to share, is like we did. I mean, this was you know, we wrapped up those conversations 2 days ago, and I just did this as sort of like a little proof of concept here, basically. But I just wanted to show it to people, mostly because I'm excited, right? I think it's been a while since we've released something really new on the driver tool side of things. And this is just a bit of a sneak peek of what's to come. And this is super rudimentary. So this is basically 1 day of data. This is like a couple hours of data broken up into 10-minute chunks, essentially. But let's, you know, let me show y'all this. Excited to show you this, but also I guess as part of that, if you want to pick a city, right? So Steve, leave it up to you. Sort of, where do you want to pick? Where do you want to pick? This is Miami right now, but
right.
Interesting to you.
Let's do Austin, Texas.
Let's do Austin, Texas. Okay. Do I know where I am right now? No, I'm joking.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you even know?
yeah. It's like, Austin, I don't know where that is. But here's what I'm about to show you, what's pretty interesting. So all of these are a ping coming in from a gig platform. And I've anonymized it here for this purpose, but you'd be able to see Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, or sort of the color on it. And what you're basically seeing here is in 5-minute increments or 10-minute increments where the pings are coming in, basically. So, sorry.
Yeah, David and I were talking like a heat map, you guys.
Yeah, but this is actually like a crowdsourced heat map. So you can see in
exactly
5 to 10-minute increments what is happening around the city. And what you'll see is, you know, right now it's 4 a.m. in the morning, so there's not much happening there. But the whole idea being that you would be able to share with your friends what is going on. What's interesting is also to see different cities having different pings at certain times. But I thought this was really interesting. So let's head down to sort of like Florida, right?
Hey, hit that middle of the state, because we know Miami can be crazy and whatnot, but it looked like there was a lot of action near Orlando.
Where do you want to see up in here, Orlando?
Yeah, right there in the middle. Yeah.
And this is sort of a sample here, but what you're going to be able to see is, you know, in Orlando, early, you know, what are the times going on? So the times here are starting at 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m. it gets pretty busy around the airport. Stuff's happening around Disney World, and obviously things get quieter through the night. But what's really cool here is I think what our goal is to be able to get more and more people in the system, and it's completely opt-in, right? But it's this idea that if you're willing to gain and learn from where other people are getting pings, and you're willing to share your own pings, it starts to get really interesting there, right? And this is just sort of a small sample, and they're all the same colored dots. But imagine that this was an Uber logo, a Lyft logo, an Uber Eats logo. Let's try one more location just out of
So
interest.
can you put people's mind at ease on this, though, that there's no data being shared, simply the data that's being shown? Or how do you want to
Yes.
word
So
that?
there is no data being shared at all.
Yeah.
All you see is the logo. Another thing is we understand that there are creepy people out there. You do not want people to know exactly where you are. So this is not perfect, right? So what you'll see here is it looks like it's right here.
But you anonymized it too.
One, it's anonymized, and two, the GPS coordinates are scrambled slightly, basically. So the person will not be able to come find you.
Right.
If you sort of look at LA here, the idea being,
but if it's anonymized, they wouldn't even know anyway.
No, but still, there is still some amount of maybe somebody's just an extra creep. They have no idea who you are and want to come to that exact spot.
Sure.
So we've purposely added like a 2 or 3 block wiggle room to it. But really, it starts to get pretty interesting here, right? I mean, I'm zoomed out quite a bit, but the whole idea is that if you're Santa Monica to here driver, you would be able to see where's busy, where's not at what time. You'll see here 5 a.m. It's pretty dead. Nothing happens in Santa Monica, and then it starts to open up again, basically, right? And just things start to happen, and you can see it going on there. So this is really a sneak peek. But
so because it's crowdsourcing over time, would it build like data tables of metrics that would show, hey, Fridays at 7 in Santa Monica, jamming?
Eventually,
9:30? No, kind of dead.
There are other apps that do that, and those things are not that helpful, right? So just because it's busy this Friday.
No, that's why I was asking, because I agree, because there could be an event the next weekend right there at the Superdome or whatever you got in your city.
And it throws it all off, right?
And the whole thing's meaningless.
I spent a lot of time trying to extract info from that, and just events change every week. For me to be smarter than a driver on what's happening in their area is very hard, if not almost impossible. Right.
So like we could take your city, for instance. Last weekend was Austin City Limits Festival.
Yeah. So is this upcoming.
That would have thrown the whole thing.
Changes everything, but it changes every year, right? So I think for mine, at the end of the day, the local driver knows best what's happening in the area or when and where is good. This is just sort of data to feed into each driver's mental model, right?
I can see where that would be helpful to me.
Yeah.
If I could watch the time play out in Denver, I can learn things from that.
Yep. And it's always just opt-in, right? So you basically open the app, you share, and you get to learn, and you can just see, hey, the hotspot's here, but really people are getting pings there. Oh, this area is crazy. I don't want to go there right now, but this is more to come, I guess is what I'm saying. So
yeah. Derek says the pulse is very cool. We have a Facebook person asking about DoorDash beta. I don't know if that's is this publicly still being talked about, or what's going on with that?
No, but we always need new testers if you ask nicely. So tell me, David at withpara.com. So
see, that's what you get for sticking around till the end of the show. You get the little tidbits.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions before we wrap this up? Because we're trying to keep these at an hour. We have I hope we did enough talking about what these were for the audio podcast listeners. If not, I will be listening to it tomorrow when I upload it, and it'll still go, but I will learn from that, because we've done things before where we're showing tables and we're not explaining enough of what's going on. I need to remember that there's an audio cast listener too. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are, guys, I keep hearing great things about Delivered. And then there's like Josh and me who have great curry markets, but aren't seeing the great Delivereds yet. But I keep hearing from a ton of people that Delivered is putting out amazing stuff. I see Tony Driven Dad is taking him down south. Seems to be working for him. It's just when it comes to your area and really starts taking off, that's really like the sign of an app working or something working good for you. And that's why we say market to market, everything's different. You never can compare A to B. can't compare city C to D, you can't compare time F to G, you can't, there's just too many comparisons you can't use. You literally have to be in the same market, working the same time in the same area to even have a conversation with somebody that really is meaningful about what actually is happening in your market. We can give you the overall, and we can give you the take on, like, right now, DoorDash. I mean, across the country, I'm not hearing great things. The platform's down. It's not paying as well. There aren't as many orders. All their different tiers now of systems and based on AR and acceptance rate that they shouldn't even be using if we're independent contractors. All kinds of issues. So this is now causing a huge negative effect across the country. So I mean, I feel safe saying that because I know that. But and I know a lot of people are like, I just said the opposite, Jimmy. I gotta put it up, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, David put it up. I just said literally the opposite of what you're saying. All markets are different. I just said it. Oh boy. What's up, Jimmy? How you doing? If for those that don't know Jimmy's awesome. And yeah, so he just drops by to troll once in a while, but he's safe. But yeah, I mean, that's, you guys, I hope that if you missed it on Facebook, because I saw we had a decent amount of Facebook people watching for a little bit. I hope you got some answers. If you're some of the people that we address the comments, hopefully you see it in the afterplay or on replay on Facebook, and then know that you can join us back here every week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We go about an hour, and we have guests and all kinds of things, but we do it every week. So we will have it streamed through to Facebook like this as well. And oh, there's Gary Middleton. Just joined as well. Kimmy is okay. I think he meant Jimmy, but yeah. What's up, Gary? How you doing? So here's to Gary's house closing in early November. Is that right, Gary? November 5th, 4th, something like that.
Congrats. That's exciting.
He's he needs that house to close. They're living out of an Airbnb. So at least he's not. I asked him if he was homeless down by the river. He said no. They're in an Airbnb. And so anyway, you guys, David, you got anything last words here before we sign off?
No, just decided to do these more often. So
yeah, so you guys, especially on the Facebook side too, because the YouTube side, you guys already know you can join us here every week, and we have guests and whatnot. But on the Facebook side, you can start joining as well. I'm glad that we had the comments, so we did. I was surprised to see the Melbourne one, so that's always interesting and fun. But join us, bring your questions. They're a lot easier to address here than they are in a comment section, because you get other people answering them. You get incorrect answers. You get, let's just get it out in the open. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week on the Gig App Podcast by Para. God, this could take me some time to get that right. So have a good evening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Take care.